I made a huge mistake as an introvert growing up, especially in high school. I had just arrived back to the US from Ghana, where I spent the past 16 years. I was 16 at the time, so if you do the math, I went to Ghana when I was practically a baby. But I got to high school, and the culture shock was so debilitating for me that my defense or my coping mechanism was for me to just shut down all social interactions, not shut it down so much as avoid them, right? I would go home straight from school. I wouldn't really participate in any social gatherings at school or after school. And it was just very difficult for me to get out of that shell. And the problem or the mistake that I made was in thinking that I did not need to work on this. I thought that I am naturally introverted and there was nothing wrong with staying in my room all day, playing video games, which is all I used to do at the time. But now that I'm much older, I feel like I'm paying for the consequences of those actions. Or to put a more positive spin on it, I feel like I am now having to learn skills that I could have learned a long time ago over a long period of time. Skills that many kids start learning from a very young age that I feel like I kind of shortchanged myself, and my environment where I grew up also shortchanged me as well. So the advice that I want to give to any introvert out there who maybe has a similar personality as I do, and you just don't feel like interacting with other people is energizing, and it might even sap your energy. You might come home from school and the only exciting part of your day was just leaving the public sphere and making your way to your own bubble, which is fine. But I think that the problem with this is that we do not live on an island, right? We have to interact with other people. And the older we get, the more that becomes a necessity. As we start to get into the workforce and we start to, be more independent in life, we have to interact with more people. And we are really doing ourselves a disservice if we are not skilled communicators. The best way to become a skilled communicator is really just by indulging in communication with other people. There's no way around it, right? There's no way to learn the nuances of human communication. There's no way to pick up on the subtle cues of human expression, facial expressions, and the subtle, changes in tone that might signal one thing or the other. And how we react to certain things is also something that we need to adjust for, because sometimes we might overreact to something that everybody else perceives to be a-okay, while other times we might underreact. You might again be thinking that that is just who I am and there's nothing wrong, or there's nothing to change about how I am reacting to things. But once you realize that there is a sweet spot, right? You don't have to be disingenuous, but you do have to know what other people are expecting. You have to know the norms, and then if you want to break them, you can have your field day at it, knowing what you're doing, as opposed to ignorantly going through life, or I should say naively going through life, thinking that you have it all figured out, but continuously running into difficulties trying to interact with other people, and shutting down even further because you end up thinking that, you're just not capable of it, or that other people are at fault. So to get to the crux of this video, I think what I'm really saying is that for all the introverts out there, I think it is very important to put ourselves out there a little bit more than we are comfortable with, and develop those communication and social interaction skills, because of how important they can be to us in the future, if not at the current moment. These are skills that can significantly improve our quality of life. It can significantly improve the quality of lives of those around us. And trust me when I say that It is something that you will most likely regret if you don't start working at a younger age. It's something that gets more and more difficult to work on as you get older, as every other skill is, because we are already set in our ways, and it's more difficult for us to put ourselves in uncomfortable situations, even when that is necessary. So that's my advice to you, and I really hope that it makes sense. I hope that you can find a way to gradually, you don't have to jump into the deep end right away. I hope you find a way to gradually expose yourself to such interactions, and I wish you the best of luck.